you know, we did so nicely on the, Saturday, we had that adjustment disorder webinar, and we did 2 cases like this, and it was so nicely received. I thought we can have a small teaser, like that. So that is why we decided to put this case. Anyway, let's see, we'll quickly go through it. So today our plan is like this. We are doing our 18th NJ CME on Rosidea, which is subclass 5. And we want to start our original NJ CME of just case discussion. So we had thought earlier of converting one Thursday, but that will disrupt everything. So we thought we'll do it separately on a Saturday, the 3rd Saturday of the month, that is day after tomorrow, from 3:30 to 4:30. That's all. Only 1 hour case, we'll give you a case discussion. I will do, other people want to share, they can do. So it'll be fun. Okay. So every 3rd Saturday, that is why we didn't have this. And there was a little confusion, but we are going to start right away. I want to do that small case. Then we are going to have my very good friend Anita. We've done NJ CMEs together. We are both from ICR and we are together. And then she will give a case. And then today Nirupama is going to do some more of the new family with you. Okay. So today we are on 18. And all the people who want to, we ask new people to come. If they want to join, they will get the previous recordings of Rosidea. So today we'll be doing euphorbials, which is a new, we finished mammifigales last time, and we are going to do euphorbials today. And see, we've done roseales, mermaidales, fabiales, malfingales, and euphorbials is actually a small but very important group. So let's do that case which I gave, okay? So this was the case. It was a case of lichen planus. So boy had aged only 12 and asked about his mental state and nature. His parents said he feels more itchy when he thinks of the complaint. So what is the rubric? Quickly. Anything you say, it's okay if we are wrong, we don't care.
Itching, aggravation, thinking.
Of the complaint, yes. So thinking of the complaint aggravates. Okay, that is our first rubric. We have to just go by what the patient is saying. Then they said he's quite a good boy, obeys everyone, and no many anxieties, nor stubborn to get things done, to get things his way. So what is the rubric?
Obedient.
Obedient, timid, those kind of rubrics, right? So the rubric is mildness and yielding disposition. Okay. Then the third thing, the parent said he bothers much about his family and about other people. So that means a very caring fellow, and he's bothering about his family, other people also. So what is the rubric? We have anybody new also, somebody can just say, it doesn't matter. The thing is, we just learn. Yeah. So tell me.
Hilpa.
Cares full of other about.
Yes. So he cares a lot about his family and about other people. Right. Very good. So rubric anxiety, others for. Okay. Now we could have taken just family, but there is others. Family, most people care about. When it's others, then we have to focus more on the others. Then no fears of dark or injections. He stands first in class. He's hardworking. He's very good in maths. So what are the rubrics we'll take? 1, 1, quickly. 3 of you all are there. 1, 1, 1.
Mathematics apt for.
Very good. What else?
And hardworking.
That's not hardworking, not there.
Industrious. Yes, industrious.
Yeah.
Ardent, hardworking.
Is basically ruling out Silesia.
Ardent.
Now, not only are we just coming to one. Thanks, Rama. So we took industrious, anxiety, others for, maths apt for. Okay. Okay.
That's great.
Any idea about any remedy coming up in your mind? Okay, we'll take one more rubric. All the time he's feeling bad about his problem and keeps regretting about the disease. So far he was calm, quiet, everything, anxiety for the, everything was very good. Now he's all the time thinking about his disease, why I got it, why all the time, why this thing, why I have this disease. Okay, so what is the rubric? This is the thing. So we'll come to two remedies and we'll differentiate.
Anxiety disease about?
That is one thing, yes. But what?
Feel bad about, na? So
Well,
something different.
Say that
What's
again.
it?
Brooding.
Okay.
Brooding या dwelling. Brooding या
Dwelling.
dwelling about his
Okay.
complaint.
Yes. Good. One little more. Just a little bit more.
All the time.
So far, what we would have come to the remedy so far. He's industrious, he's working hard, he's caring for other people, he looks after, he's obedient, he's quiet, he's calm. What is the remedy we would have thought of? Whenever there's a lot of care of people.
Causticum.
Phosphorus.
Okay, very good. So
Phosphorus,
another remedy
causticum,
And
carcinosum.
Kalis.
Yeah,
Kalis. also.
Carcinosum में लेकिन fear of dark बहुत है.
yeah. Lot of fears are there, yes. Very correct. So, okay.
One question, the itching feeling better by hot or cold?
We didn't have that. We didn't
Okay,
take the full case, now we just took small.
okay.
So now this is the major rubric. This is the major rubric. This is called lamenting. Lamenting disease
This is
about it.
about.
Okay.
Very
Yes.
important rubric. Okay. Which is not there in the one remedy. So if we take all these, you can see the screen.
Yes.
So the two remedies which come very close are cocculus, which we caring and too much giving and good and everything. We would think of cocculus apart from causticum and everything that we said. But lamenting constantly about a disease and not saying cocculus will not bother so much. We'll say, okay, let my disease be, let me look after other people and other things. So this is what will differentiate Naxomica and cocculus. And he did very well under Naxomica. Okay, I just wanted to, this one thing, I was so sad I didn't get the rubric that I wanted to give it to you. So I'm happy to do this. And
Thank you. One absolutely new dimension of Naxomica. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Anyway, every time I'll share one little case like this so that it just puts everybody into a good mood. And one thing at least you've learned. Yeah. So we have all these remedies in this Superbial. I'm just going to take 2-3 minutes with you all. And what are the remedies we already know? We know Hura, we know Mancinella, we know Euphorbia a little bit. Yeah, Proton we know. But we don't know much dimension. So it's a very small family, really. We've seen some big families, right? We have taken 15 in that. So this has been, we will not be taking so many remedies here. So here, are there new people here? But anyway, I'll talk in 2 minutes about the whole thing is about, it is combo of column 5, which is Rosidea. And this is where the early childhood, that row 4 starts. So column 5 in brief is masculine quality, separation, split between feminine and masculine. We've been repeating this every time, but it still has to get in. It's all about relationship, about partnership, about the other person we come to know apart from the family. The father now rules. He sets up boundaries. He's very dogmatic. He's very clear about roles. He brings in religion, fanaticism, rigidity, suppression, criticism, hierarchy, work, and ambition. So these things very different from the 4th subclass, which was the lady where the mother. So here is, I borrowed Nirupama's chart. So here is the chart. So I and the other, which is the 5th subclass, which is Rosidea, and the 4th row, which is early childhood. Last time we finished all the rows of womb, oral, and anal stage. Okay. So that's why today we will do euphorbia. So row 4 is all about now they are getting on to early childhood. So now things about life, path, purpose, all that. And because you're walking, a lot of limbs and joints are affected. Because it's early childhood, there's a lot of curiosity and playfulness. And this curiosity is always a problem. Because that leads to lot of problems. Then you may have person taking a lot of initiative or being indifferent, okay, being bad, being stuck. If that happens, then you have other things, paralysis and other things. And if you have curiosity, then people, take advantage because you're investigating the world, you have sexual curiosity. So you're going to the world and the world is coming to you and it may penetrate and you may have a lot of sexual abuse here because this is the first time you're talking about a lot of sex and taking interest in sexual organs. So adults may take advantage of it. Okay, so this is the first stage of separation from parents, going to the world. So you'll have a lot of penetration by the other and sexual abuse. And then precocious sexuality is seen, perverted forms like we see with Pura and Mancinella, or as debility in sexual organs in men and vaginismus in women, covered by euphoria. We are going to see cases of some of these, and then we will do themes of euphoria, which today, luckily, it's been a very heavy week for me. So Nirupama offered to do euphorbias, the themes. So we are doing a conglomerate, nice webinar. Yeah. So we will start with Dr. Anita's case now, and I will stop sharing. And I will hand over the screen to Anita. And what I want to say is Dr. Anita is a very intelligent, very giving person, and loves to share and loves to learn, just like all of us here. So we make a good group of people. We conduct CMEs earlier together. So we have been very closely associated for a long time. And she has a wonderful...
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my case on
You taken the share screen?
this platform. And I'm sharing the platform with you for the first time, though we know each other.
Not really. We did it in the Enjoy CME a little bit, yeah. But it was a offline.
Offline, we have met me.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get on with the case.
Yeah.
Can you allow me screen sharing?
I've given up my screen sharing. Preeti, please allow Anita to share screen.
Who's the host disabled
Yeah.
participant screen sharing?
Yeah, I'll allow 1 second.
Yeah.
So till she gives platform to Anita, I will just tell all group members, please listen to this case very carefully. I myself attended twice. And it's a very clear, picture perfect case. Huh? Whatever we are going to discuss, it is ekdam picture perfect for that understanding. So listen to it carefully.
You can share now.
Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Can you see the screen?
Oh. I can only see me and all of you.
I think it's taking time.
Not yet, not yet.
Wait. Now it's visible, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it started.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will first brief about
Put it full screen,
this
Anita.
case. This is a case of 6-year-old girl.
Anita, put full screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good. First week.
Yes. So this is the case of a 6-year-old girl, and this family is known to me. Most of the family members are my patients. So even socially, like they invite me for whatever, functions are there in the family. So I'm quite close to them, and the children are also quite close to me. So her father is a lawyer, mother is a housewife. She's 6 years old, and she has one 9-year-old brother. So and their grandmother and grandfather also stay with them. So the situation is that they have been staying in an old house, which was a smaller one, and recently they have shifted to a bigger house in a new building. So in the old house, they had a lot of, this girl had a lot of friends. She used to play with all the friends, lot of contacts. And in this new building, she
One
still
second.
has to,
Preeti, can you
make
remove the
friends.
spotlight from me, put it on Anita. Thank you. Okay, carry.
So this is the situation now. After Ganpati, these people visited me, mother, her brother, and patient. So all three had come, and she was continuously whispering something in her ear, her mother's ear. So usually she's very friendly with me. Whenever she comes to the clinic, she will enter the cabin, she will climb on the examination table, start talking to me, and very enthusiastic to share things with me. But this time, like, she was, continuously clinging to her mother, and she was trying to tell her something in her ears. So I was finding it a little weird. But then when they settled down, mother encouraged her to talk. And she spoke to me in Gujarati only. So she was continuously, mother was trying to push her to talk, but she was continuously hesitating and telling mother, you tell her, you tell her. I can't tell her. So this way, she was continuously, this conversation was going on between mother and daughter. And this daughter was continuously telling her something in her ears, and mother was telling her to tell me directly. And I was also trying to, encourage ki, what happened? You know me very well. Why are you hesitating so much? So I also encouraged her to talk, but then she was very hesitant. So mother sent her brother also away, and then she said ki she has been getting some weird thoughts, which this patient calls, like, as a small child, she doesn't know what are thoughts and what are dreams. And so she was continuously telling me ki mane yaad aave chhe, as if, I'm getting some memories or some thoughts. She was not able to describe, make out how to describe it. So she was getting some weird thoughts, like if somebody is doing some work for other. Now this is on the screen, you can read it. If somebody is doing something for the family member also, she feels ki this person is her servant, his servant. That way she used to feel, is she your servant? Like if mom is doing something for the father also, she would ask father, is she your servant? Or if somebody tells her to do something, she will say, am I your servant? So this way she was getting some thoughts. Then she was getting a thought that father must be drinking alcohol. So basically father is a very nice man, very family man, and very sober and decent person. But then this girl gets these thoughts, father must be drinking alcohol, something bad is going to happen. Then thoughts about marriage, getting married to someone, I will be married off to someone. Then whenever she gets these thoughts, she complains of stomach pain. She feels very sad. And when her mother, reassures her that nothing is wrong, okay, these thoughts are okay. If somebody is doing something for you, it doesn't mean that he is your servant. It can be your family also. Family member can also do something for you. So then she calms down for some time. But then again, she will get some different thoughts. Like her brother and she share the bedroom. So earlier also she used to see her brother is a little mischievous and immature. So he would change in front of her, or he would come out of the bathroom without clothes. So she would tease her at that time. She would laugh at him. But now, like, she feels that I have seen him naked without clothes. So that is bad, So she will go and tell her mother that I have done a bad thing, I have done a mistake, I've done something wrong. Then she would feel that father may marry someone. Then other thoughts were, how do poor people must be managing, their food and everything. Then her grandma and grandfather are ganda, they are dirty people. Then all these, weird thoughts she would get about marriage, and she was curious about genitals also. So about private parts. So all these things were going on, So I was trying to understand. Now this patient was not telling me directly. She was telling her mother, and her mother was conveying it to me. And in spite of, lot of persuasion by her mother, she was not able to talk directly. She was continuously very hesitant. And she would suddenly start talking, and then she will talk also. Like, though there was hesitation, but there was an urge to talk. So she wanted to express also. So she would express in a crying tone, ki mane aham thai che, mane aham thai che, that little bit of crying tone and very innocent type of girl like. And whenever she got these thoughts, she always complained of sadness. When I asked her, ki, what happens if you get these thoughts? So she said, I feel very bad and I feel sad and there is stomach pain. What if it comes true? Like whatever thoughts, bad thoughts she's getting, what if it comes true? So that is her fear. So now I was trying to explore that why this thing has suddenly started, because during Ganpati also I had visited her new house and she had shown me around. She was very excited. She showed me all her gifts and toys and everything. And suddenly after 2-3 weeks, she is coming down with all these things. So it was little, a surprise for me also. So I tried to understand what has gone wrong in this period. So earlier where they used to stay, that house was very close to the school. So mother used to drop her and pick her up. And now since they have come little far away from their school, from her school, so my mother has arranged the bus service. So mother was trying to, train her for that. Like, you will be alone in the bus Didi will be there, but then you have to be careful. You have to take care of yourself. Don't allow anybody to touch you. And she is the first one to get in the bus, and she will be the last one to get down from the bus. So mother was little scared. So mother used to constantly, try to train her. So that was one reason which I found. Second reason was change of residence. So because of that, she did not have many friends, and she could not play. So a lot of empty time in her hand. And during Ganpati, everything was, they had 7 days Ganpati. So a lot of visitors, guests, and everything was, quite busy and joyful atmosphere. But once the school started after Ganpati, within 2-3 days, this complaint started. So this is the thing. And whenever she got these thoughts, she would tell her mother. And when her mother said that, okay, it's okay, I also get such thoughts, it is normal, nothing unusual, then she will calm down. But then she has to tell it to her mom. So one more incident mother described that during Ganpati celebrations only, they had a lot of guests. So one of her relatives, adolescent girl, she has this habit of shooting reels and sharing it on social media. So mother was very skeptical about that, because they are not very much on social media and they don't like children's pictures coming on social media. So she called the patient inside and told her ki, if Didi is shooting or Didi is taking any pictures, don't go. So she, this girl, after 2-3 days also, she remembered this and she told her mom, I was with Didi, no, but we were not doing anything wrong. We did not shoot any reel. She did not take any pictures. So I have not done anything wrong. So she was trying to clarify, justify that, and her memory is very sharp. So she remembers each and every small thing. And in the morning, she will tell her mom that I have not done anything wrong and nothing bad I have done. So this type, she will try to clarify her. So this is all about the case. So what would you think about the clinical condition which she is suffering from? And about the whatever stage and remedy point of view, or any indications you can think of, or any rubrics you can think off. Ma'am, you are on mute.
With such a sudden change in the temperament, that is definitely has to be explored. A. B, there is something that she's hiding, because she's not able to talk about it. And when the mother has asked her regarding that cousin, she kept saying, oh, we haven't done anything wrong. So there is some element of hiding, some element of guilt, some element of shame. I would explore further.
Yes, absolutely right. But she's not hiding. She feels the urge to express it, clarify her. She wants
And she likes the mother to
to prove that I'm not wrong, I'm not bad. So she has that strong urge to say that,
So she's trying to be.
This is also a part of the disease. This quality of sharing and getting reassured is also the part of the disease. What do you think the clinical condition is, or the disease is?
Madam, you were also saying something, no?
I was saying that no, there's a lot of in her there is a lot of shame because she's getting thoughts which she knows she's bad. It is bad, the thoughts maybe, but the mother is talking to her, so she's feeling that consolation and that kind of support. She's feeling good about it, and she's now very fearful of these new situations where mother keeps saying, "Bas, you don't do this, don't do that." So she feels that fear of being injured, that she can be injured. So that kind of fear is there. And she got getting bad thoughts about the father. So she's imagining the worst, which is not there.
One more thing I forgot to share, that when I was asking her how come she is getting such thoughts, so mother said she watches a lot of TV whenever her grandmother is watching TV. So this girl also sits with her and watches TV. She watches Tarak Mehta, where they talk of party sharty, drinking and all that. And she watches one more serial where it is on some historical king and queen, king having a lot of queens and all. So that serial also she watches. So this was one of the reasons.
She lost her friends also. No? Maybe she feels quite friendless and not occupied. No?
Yes. Anybody?
Yes, what I'm thinking, I heard this case for a short time, but if such kind of thoughts are coming, so there is a disease aspect of compulsive obsessive disorder.
Yes.
So if it is like a compulsion of thinking the same thing again and again and again, and the same thoughts are coming, so this is a compulsive obsessive disorder, COP, what we say, COD.
OCD.
So OCD.
Yes, it is obsessive compulsive neurosis.
So
Yes.
when
She's
such kind of patient
obsessed by
comes,
these thoughts.
yes, correct. And the same process of thought process is coming again and again.
And her compulsive action is to speak about it.
Correct.
So compulsive action is speaking about it, and which relieves,
Correct. So
this is the cycle of OCD.
Yes.
Anything about her remedy, totality?
Yeah, if she's thinking about more of on sexual aspect, on insecurity, so taking into account all these things, there's a compulsive, like I'm not coming close to the remedy as such, but we can think of platina or
Sorry?
we can think about platina.
This is also subclass 5, congestion and relieving the congestion by talking. Congestion is happening in the mind and relieving it by talking.
Okay. Mhm.
Explosion. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ma'am, Mancinella.
So we will go ahead.
So if you're thinking of sexual and all that, you'll always think a little bit about Alzheimer's. That kind of remedy will come to your mind. And I used to have a girl exactly like this, in the sense, she was 6 years old, so 20 years ago. And she used to tell me I get bad thoughts of marriage and all. And I had given her platina because her mother was platina. And she had been helped. So, when she said about platina, I just thought of that case. But of course, the other things are not there. And yeah, and we probably it will be much more
Ma'am, Mancinella.
okay. So tell us about why
Here,
when I did the rubrics, I got only 2 in Mancinella. I got covering only anxiety, conscience of, and compulsive disorder. I took rubrics like sympathy lights, anxiety, conscience, wrong he has done, hide, desire to, but there's no hiding, so that it goes. Shame, fear, injured of being, change, aversion to, friendless feels, and compulsive disorder. But in that, I'm getting Mancinella only 2, anxiety, conscience of, and compulsive. I'm just telling you repertory, okay?
here, there is no fear of being injured, but it is, she is going a bit ahead. She's getting these
Precocious.
thoughts and she is trying to judge herself on those thoughts. So
Yeah.
this judgment of right, wrong,
So yeah, you can,
good, bad, evil, and that way, so super ego is active. Now we are in 5th subclass. So super ego has become active. Her super ego is quite developed, which is, trying to torment her that this is wrong. So you have to justify it. You have to clarify to your mom that whatever I'm doing is happening on its own. I am not doing anything. Whatever thoughts I'm getting, I have not done anything to attract those thoughts. So even if she watches her brother, which she used to do earlier also, like because he used to come in front of her, she was not going and peeping inside. So that was, at that time, it was a normal childish, game type of thing that they used to make fun of each other. But now whenever she feels that I have done something wrong. So this is the issue of right and wrong. Super ego is very, very well developed, which is tormenting her. That is the crux of the case. And OCD, guilt and everything comes, it is very common because OCD, now in a psychiatric disease, you have to see what is common of the disease and what is characteristic for prescribing in homeopathy. So that way, if we go ahead. So my analysis was precipitating factors were mother is anxious, cautious, and keeps cautioning her. So this strong superego is coming from her mother's anxiety, which is, controlling her. And exposure to TV serials, the influence of all these TV serials, she is exposed to all these thoughts of multiple marriages, multiple partners, and drinking, partying, and all that. So how does she process these thoughts? So she is, trying to project it on her father. Father must be, because other men also hide and do it. In Tarak Mehta also, if you see, these men plan out hidingly. They don't inform their wives, and they are very scared of the Babuji also. So they do it in a hiding way. So she must be suspecting, because if other men are doing it hidingly, so that means my father also must be doing these things. So that is her thinking. Then change of place was, precipitating factor, important precipitating factor, because loneliness is there, no one to play, and a lot of empty time. So empty mind is devil's workshop. So, and concern is the thoughts troubling. Obsessive sadness and somatization, because she complains of stomach pain also, and which is better by expressing. So which is a compulsive act related to the obsessive thoughts. Like if a person feels I'm dirty, he washes hands. In OCD, that happens, no? Washes hands, they feel relieved.
so what are the
So
rubrics?
similarly, if she talks about it, she justifies herself. I will come to it. So according to me, if we go to psychodynamics, there is moral upbringing, strict superego causing guilt and anxiety conscience, relation with father responsible for restricting and punitive measures. But in this case, father is not very participative in parenting. So mother only becomes a strong fatherly figure who is trying to control her. And we have to find a remedy which covers these dynamics. So I took simple rubrics because I was not understanding, how to go about it. So I took simple rubrics: thoughts tormenting, which is very, very clear. She is troubled by her thoughts. Horrible things and sad stories affect her profoundly. The influence of the serials which she watches. And I took homesickness. So she is not complaining of missing her house, but because she is lonely and she has left her homely environment behind and come to a new atmosphere. So I took homesickness. And in this repertorization, all these common remedies were there, but this was uncommon. And this is known for, psychiatric affections, psychiatric diseases. So I tried to explore Mancinella. So what radar keynotes are of Mancinella in synthesis repertory: fear of being possessed or taken away by evil spirits, the devil. Fear of insanity, evil spirits, and being possessed. This gives fear of insanity, of losing control, often seen in girls at puberty or younger, after being frightened, for example, of horror movies, or because of strong religious upbringing. Now, strong religious upbringing is regarding, what is evil, what is bad. It is not morally right and wrong, but according to religious base, pap punya. So sin, there is a theme of sin in this. Afraid to pronounce the word devil. The fear is so marked that they are afraid to even talk about it. So this girl was also, on one side, there was fear, there was hesitation of talking about it. At the same time, the pressure was so much that she was talking about it and then getting relieved also. So this struggle was constantly going on in her. Other fears like dark, ghosts, something bad will happen, crowds, cancer, obsessive thoughts, fear of their own thoughts, have to restrain them. So this was the thing, which was completely describing her state. Then fear that they would kill their own child, self-destructive, aggravation night, dark, nightmares, awake, screaming. Sometimes she was saying that I am dreaming like this. Or sometimes she was saying, mane yaad ave che. I am getting such thoughts, Praying, hoping God will help them. Low self-esteem, lack of confidence, dependent on others or family. So she is asking for reassurance from her mother again and again. Bashful, depression, superstitious, sexual thoughts, obsession, perverse fancies. So this was, fitting the picture. So I went to repertory also. So in the repertory, if you see elements from domination, children in parental control, long history of excessive religious upbringing. So here the domination is not, oppressive or something, but it is more of religious upbringing. Like you have to do right things according to religion. As per religion, you should be right. Elements from fright, movies after seeing scary, delusion, persecuted, fear happens, something will. Now Mancinella is in typhoid miasm, where persecution is very strong. Fear happens, something will. Fear, moral obliquity. So you are moving away from the moral conduct. Homesickness, mental derangements in. Fear of sin, horrible and things, sad stories affect her profoundly. Memory active. Her mother also said her memory is very sharp. So on the third day also she is telling me that I was not making any reels with my cousin. Sadness, sexual excitement with. Thoughts compelling, thoughts persistent, thoughts sexual, thoughts tormenting, dark, tormented by delusions and fears in the dark. So, all these things are dark for her. Sexuality, marriage, alcohol, but still like she's getting scared of all these things. So what does Yakir say about it? Mancinella, the fourth row theme of penetration, expresses in Mancinella as a feeling that something is going to take them over. Like Madam also said, that this is, your first column where I versus me is there. So now they are interacting with the environment. And fourth row, child is coming out from the house and entering the world. So there is, a lot of fear of penetration, interaction with people outside the family. The other is invading her boundaries, anxiety of supernatural things that are lurking in the dark, waiting to get her, voices that instruct her to harm herself, delusion of being possessed by the devil or taken away by the devil. They have in them a weird and mad world, as if they were under a spell. This girl was so normal, cheerful, bubbly girl. And suddenly, this thing, something has taken over her. It feels like something has taken over her. They have in them a weird and mad world, as if they were under a spell, supernatural element in them, black color, mood alternating in an extreme way, fear of cockroaches, of aliens, and of ghosts. They sense of insanity, superstitious, and at times developed an interest in black occult. The feeling is that external scary forces are going to take hold of them and control them while they are helpless, without a boundary to resist them. So they don't have strong boundaries. That is why you get a lot of skin conditions in U4BAC, dependent on others, but at the same time afraid that others will take control. So whenever you get a case where, they are talking about evil spirits taking over, you always think of Mancinella as a DD. Not only Mancinella, there can be other remedies also, but it should come to your mind. The masculine principle is threatening. Now, this is the first time where the masculine is becoming strong. After delinity, where there is care and nurture, here in fifth subclass, masculine is taking over, so the superego is forming. So the masculine principle is threatening to cross boundaries and take them over. Fear of homosexuality. I can't read. Last line, Padna Nirupama.
Becomes threatening.
Threatening. That's the partner father influence become threatening.
Influences become threatening. So now the masculine thing is taking over. Now they are entering the world. So they have to, adapt with the outside world also. Mother takes care of the nurturing, but outside world training, they get from father on. So here, first time, father figure becomes important. Now about the Mancinella tree, which is known as beech apple or poison apple family. It is so poisonous. This fruit is so poisonous that even if the water, rainy water is falling from the fruit and dropping on you, person gets blisters, even blindness. So it's so poisonous. And when the fruit dries, it deforms into frightening spiky shapes. So it looks very frightening. So this is the doctrine of signature. Sin and guilt are typical column 5 traits due to the tendency to split between good and bad. The U4BAC feels objection to any hint of penetration or influenced by the other. So because of fear, they want to approach other, they want others, but when they go close to them, they have this fear of penetration also. Like they will be injured, like madam says, fear of being injured. So that both the things are there. So here, self-possessed. These possessed can be their own thoughts. It is not necessarily somebody has done a black magic or something, but they are tormented by their own thoughts. Fear of hell and fear of sin. These three main things are there. So now other remedies which come close are calcarea and stramonium. Stramonium especially because of the dark occult things and all that. Also gets fear and clings. So it is more of infant stage where they are not so developed. Here issue is about morality, right and wrong. Calcarea also has fear. Fear is very, very strong. But again, the issue of morality is not there in calcarea. Phosphorus again is impressionable, but no moral issue. So your moral issue defines the case where right and wrong issue is very important. This is all from my side. If there are any questions,
So tell us the follow-up.
I have the description of U4 BSc, but I think Nirupama is going to take, so I will not go into that.
No, tell us the
Hey,
follow-up.
madam is saying
So this is
follow.
early childhood follow-up. I gave her only single dose of Manzanilla 200, and there was no follow-up for quite some time. Then during Dashara, I received the wishes, happy Dashara. That time I messaged her mom about how she said it settled down very fast. Now nothing like that. So she had even forgotten about the whole, incidents. She had completely settled down with one dose.
So typically acute onset settle down with single doses. Suddenly it settled down.
Yeah, and
Superb.
to the extent they
superb.
even forgot that something like that happened. Even mother
Yes.
forgot to give me the follow-up. Otherwise, she's quite regular in giving follow-up.
Otherwise, this case would have gone into a typical chronic OCD, which becomes so tough to treat later. Very good case.
Show us your repertory working. if
So
you have.
basically, early childhood. Sorry.
If you have your repertory working, can you show us?
Yeah, I'd shared, no?
Anita, you caught the medicine very well. Very nice case.
Very good case. Just do full screen now, please, Anita.
Ma'am, can you see?
Full screen.
Mamta had come to the remedy, but I hope she has learned more than what she shared. Mamta?
This is the, a single remedy rubric of Manzanilla. Elements from domination, children in parental long history of excessive parental control, religious upbringing. Main thing is religious upbringing. That is why it is not oppressing domination, but their thinking super ego is very strong. Issue of right and wrong is very strong. And this is because, borders are very weak. So that is why they get affected by these frightful movies, and anything horrible, sad stories affect her profoundly. Fear of sin.
Comes very closely.
Fear of sin. Pulsatilla doesn't have this conflict of right and wrong. Though they have, they think about marriage and all that.
In fact,
Marriage is bad.
yes, they have this religious upbringing. Even we have this background of Pulsatilla, where the religious upbringing is there. But what is the difference is that Pulsatilla also dwells on these things, and actually she wants it also. So though she knows that she should not do it, but because she wants it, she does it, and then she dwells over it. It's like that. Whereas
here, typically, we see that early childhood, every thought is penetrating. Whatever she sees, if she sees TV serial, it's going inside. If mother said, don't do this, that's going inside. And then she's feeling whatever coming to my mind is wrong. And that's why she's wants that confirmation from mother. That is very important. That is how this cycle developed here.
And one very interesting thing I forgot to mention, that when I asked her, like I was trying to understand why she is having this, no? So I asked her, did anybody touched you in the bus? Did anybody do anything to you? And because elder kids were also traveling in that bus. So, she was so confused, and she said, yeah, we eat together, but I'm not sure whether anybody touched me or not. So this is the type of, fear that something wrong might have happened without my knowledge also. So that is the thing without my knowledge also something bad should not happen. So this is the thinking of right and wrong. Pulsatilla
Yeah.
doesn't have this strong super ego. They are more impressionable. Pulsatilla being
Yeah.
impressionable will have that religious, affections, or they have this fear of marriage and all that. But then it is not out of super ego, strong super ego, where they think about right and wrong
Yes,
and good and bad.
yes.
Yeah, and rigid upbringing also we can say. Rigid
Yes.
in
Here
So as
nothing happened,
pulsatilla
but
is
still she
penetrable,
Rigid in religious
everything
aspect,
penetrates.
mainly in religious aspect.
religious.
And
Yeah.
because everything penetrates, when exposed to sexual things also penetrated, when exposed to religious things also penetrated. But
Hmm.
because as Anita mentions that that superego is not that developed, everything is fine. It goes that way. So that superego conflict does not come up in pulsatilla, whereas we find that very strongly in mencinella.
Huh. Yeah, that
Any other
also
questions?
explains well. Yeah.
Good point of differentiation.
Dr. Vishpala.
So
Hello,
I have,
Dr. Vishpala.
yes.
Good afternoon. This is Ashok here.
Hi,
I
Ashok.
have one question. First thing that Dr. Bajaj is maybe it's question of internet, because every time there is a break in her voice, might be internet. Anyway, that's not an issue. My question that we were speaking about this problem, obstinate, and the platina that we were speaking. I have a question about this platina. In case one woman, whatever the things are there, lately she had an effect of, with example, I'm asking for platina. She had a effect of, bad effect of, might be, is the question of vaccinations when there was
Bad effect
with
of?
vaccination.
Hmm.
She started after 6 days trembling of her hands, right hand. And but the situation, if you see the nature of this person, woman, is too haughty that sometimes brings me, sometimes confirms me like a platina. She can criticize anybody, very haughty for herself, that she must be the first one to every place. She must be noted by other places. If platina we give, maybe 1,000 or maybe 10,000, what could be the effect of or side effect could be, or it will bring the right situation of the person. Maybe she is lycopodium, but platina is
So,
too
Ashok,
strong.
I would rather like you to ask questions on this case, not about a hypothetical case
Okay,
of platina, because that I can give you a long lecture on platina. I've got a whole book written. But what I'm saying is, let's focus on this and then differentiate. Even here,
All right.
differentiation is very, very difficult if you don't know all these things about rows and columns and things. So sometimes it's difficult. Now, if you do repertory, I got lachesis, veratrum, hyoscyamus. Okay, so these are the remedies we have to differentiate from also, na?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that is.
Anyway,
Thank you, Ashok, for the question.
okay.
I will
It's
just,
okay.
yeah, Anita, you'll have to differentiate from these.
Lachesis, lachesis doesn't have this conflict of right and wrong. No, they are in amusement. Okay, they will be tormented by the thoughts and all that, but then they don't go into this conflict of right and wrong.
Snake
One thing is that, and if from kingdom analysis also, if you feel there is no, animal issue in this, it is more of sensitivity,
correct. So that's why we have to approach
her
every
own
case.
sensitivity to these things which she has seen in her surroundings.
Correct. So
One more
veratrum,
point about lachesis is it has adult sexuality.
yes,
In Mancinella, if you see, it's a very early
Childish.
child
It is
sexuality.
more of exploring.
Explore that That is how. And Black has
It is
very
more of
mature-
curiosity. It is still at the stage of curiosity. So mother also said she has a lot of curiosity about
Many
genitals
things.
or private parts. So it is superficial and childish type of sexuality here. That is why she also says that I don't know whether somebody touched me or not. We do eat together, but I am not sure whether somebody touched me. So this is very, very childish.
Yeah, correct. So we have to go with everything together. We can't only go on the repertory. We can't only, so if we, that is the whole idea of learning so many ways of approaching. If we can get everything which fits in, then we are really, really sure of the remedy, right? Otherwise we would have easily given Viratram, so many things are wrong, morality is there and lot of sexuality is there. But here is no sexuality, really. It is just thoughts which has come in, and she is obviously the whole important thing here is control. She is not able to. So it is, and who gets controlled? So you have the row also, and you have who is being controlled, the child. So again, you think of not adult. So how many things come into it? Your inner age, your the kingdoms and the rows. So that is why we are making, this case is so nice because it tells us how much important it is to do all these studies.
One more point about the
Even
controlling of the thoughts is done by the superego.
Yes.
So that also confirms the role and the religious upbringing superegos.
Yes.
Which is the crux of the whole issue.
Even if you see OCD, how many type of thoughts are going na? It is not only sexuality, everything penetrates. My father might be having affair, he might be having one more wife. If my grandmother is doing work, means she might be servant. Means every thought.
Bit of imagination, wild imagination. Kind of.
Is the, that's why if you see this type of presentation, like initially it was difficult for group to understand its OCD. So if you see early stages, you get lot of different types of OCDs, not one confirmed. As you go down, it gets fixed to one. That talks about the developmental stage also. And typically,
very good,
here,
very good point, Nirupama. Very good point.
And typically, if you see, talking to mother helps. It is not talking to father helps. It is talking to mother helps. That is also very important here. Because here mother is that father type of figure.
But talking to mother is because mother is the controlling figure for her.
That is what, what I'm saying.
Approval from
mother. So here mother is
from her that I'm not doing
That's
anything wrong. Father is a very passive force in this whole scenario. He's quite busy. So he's
so it's not either, it's not
a very proactive parent like mother. Mother takes all the charge.
Everything.
It is not feminine or masculine. It is who plays that role. So if the mother is masculine, it's not, and the father can be feminine. So it is not per se that.
Yes.
So very nice case. It explains really also the column, and it explains the row very well, where we've been constantly saying about the fourth row and how your penetration and how your sexual. It doesn't always have to be rape in that sense, but we just say rape because that thing has stuck in our mind. But it may be just the idea of rape or idea of sex and seeing, and then you have, because you're a child, so you know it's wrong. So then you have this so much conflict. Very, very good, very good. And then the child only has so much conflict. Okay. So yeah, very good case. Brings up a lot of.
Here in this case, like in the session where I had shared this case first time, everybody felt that mother is so nice, So domination, accepting domination was difficult. So this type of subtle domination also works where you are, creating some fixed standards for the child. So domination is not just aggression or violence, but even creating, or in this U4 BAC, there is one, term straight jacketing. You try to fit them in. So there is a lot of, that sensation of holding, or what is that sensation?
Yeah, it is
It's
straight
height-bound skin.
Jacket,
Hidebound.
hidebound.
hide and bound.
Tightness, scratch,
Hidebound.
straight jacketing, hidebound skin is very, very
Hidebound.
common in croton tick. So that
Yeah,
way,
and
Hidebound
these
also
are the
has
limits. You have to play within these limits. So
Yes.
compensation is dancing and freedom, breaking out, breaking
and
away
all-
from all these things.
and
Mother
also
was
why that mother is so important is because it's a early childhood, na?
Early
Impressionable. So and needs mother's approval for everything. It's that age.
And also because the mother has so far been ferrying her back and forth, and she's not really been exposed to the world, even though she is in childhood, she has not been exposed to the world because mother has been taking her to school, bringing her back. And now suddenly she has to go by school bus, and so you have a lot more exposure suddenly, though she's been in childhood for some time. So then the mother is talking more about things which she didn't do before. So the child is wondering, have I suddenly done something wrong? Why is my mother giving me so many instructions now? So, there are so many
Yes.
things which can come into play over here. Okay, Anita, thank
And
you.
mother herself is quite insecure, no?
You're very insecure.
And she is really not insecure, but really anxious because she's suddenly going away and she's suddenly going to school by herself. So far, she had control that I could take her, bring her. So not much can happen. So, and school bus incidents are so many these days. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now Nirupama will take
Now Nirupama will take
over.
Yes, yeah. So thank you,
Thank you,
Anita.
Anita.
Thank you for a lovely case. Do keep joining us, okay?
So much.
Bye. So, yeah.
So with this case, we'll understand Euphorbialis family very, very clearly. That's why I said we'll take case first and then we'll take Euphorbialis. So you'll be able to understand early childhood and this fifth subclass. So you can see this is our fifth subclass where your superego is very strong. You work with the models. And then this is early childhood. Now you start going out of home. Like if you remember your kids when you first time drop them to the nursery or junior class, how they cling to you, you also find difficult to leave your child, and even child finds it very difficult and they keep crying. So this is typical stage where you separate from your mother and you start learning simple new skills. This is very important, simple new skills, because more proper skills develops in the school age. In early childhood, you learn ball is round, this thing is square, fruit falls down. So these are the simple principles you learn at this age. And with that, when you are learning, that small hint of guilt also starts coming. If you do something wrong, oh, I've not done this right, this is something wrong. This type of shade of this emotion starts coming at this age. So with this, when you see Euphorbialis, Dr. Shankaran's chart, these are the sensation: tied, untied, bound, unbound, hide bound. Passive is tied and cannot do anything about it. Active is desire to break free. Compensation is a person who is free, unbound, and not tied up. So this is Euphorbiasis chart from Shankaran's book. You can go through it. These are the remedies here. And how a person feels: I want to be free, break free, boundless, desire to break free. They want to come out because they continuously feel this tied and unbound, tied and bound. Continuously they feel, and that's why they want to be free of this. So fifth subclass, as for so many weeks we are studying, it's too much about the morals, a masculine principle. Right-handedness means that strictness, you have to write with the right hand only. See, this finger is also fifth subclass. So you have to do with like this only. That is right-handedness. Society, father, fire, control. These are the fifth subclass. So euphorbialis is at the junction of fifth subclass and early childhood. So early childhood is what? Now that curiosity, now you are learning so many new things. So that naive curiosity develops. You want to open the box and see what is inside. You like to open all the toys and see inside. Similar way, the sexual curiosity also starts. This is very naive sexual curiosity where you want to know the body parts. You start realizing male is different from female. Typically, what type of games you play at this age? Ghar ghar, doctor patient, husband wife, because you want to know each other. So it is the first stage where you start developing the heterosexual relationship. You start understanding the other person, but very naive way, very external and physical way. So because you're so naive, there is possibility that you will get abused because of your naiveness. So a lot of child sexual abuse happens at this age. So basically stage of learning basic skills, which I already said, and guilt is the new emotion which child starts experiencing. And guilty over very small initiative which child takes, and he is not able to produce the desired results. And child learns over a period of time. Sexual curiosity, not right. Like how this child said, I don't know whether someone touched me or not. I don't know it happened or not. So, and see, even when she saw brother naked, she was confused, na? Whether I made any mistake, I see, is it wrong? So very small things, but the bigger picture is this is not right. This is not allowed. So that is what affects them a lot. So masculine principle dominates here continuously. Not right, not right, not right. That plays on them. Like here also mother said, na, no one should allow to take your video clip. It's not right to go on social media, and that again affected that child. So again, you cannot write with left hand. Right hand is only for writing. So that is how a lot of societal restriction comes, and you start working on them. But if you see euphorbialis is in early childhood, so you are not yet developed, you are not at that strong, you are not able to bear the pressure. So there is possibility of breaking fast. Like if this Mancinella case, if we see, just change of home, so shifting to school and explanation by mother, he don't do this. And in that, she broke down. She could not handle this pressure. So very, very weak ego, which breaks very fast. And the masculine principle is also very weak here. So child is now they're expected to work, but age is of playfulness. So they do not like to go for work. So there is a lot of postponement, laziness, avoidance for the work. So they cannot work effectively. Their will is yet weak. They're not that strong-willed. As you go down in school age, adolescent, adult age, the will becomes strong. Here, will is weak. That's why Mancinella breaks fast. Mancinella gets insanity. Crotontic gets diarrhea. So lot of it is that is where they break down. There is a industriousness, but still they feel they're very late in their working. Mancinella is there in this rubric. Then there is a lot of laziness. Mancinella, Crotontic, Hura. They like to play than work. Crotontic, he's sitting in the shop, but his whole attention is how children are playing outside, and I want to go there. They're very shy at their work. And lot of sadness comes because they are not able to handle their emotions. They are not able to. Today only I saw one patient. He said, "Doctor, I just cannot handle my emotions. I break down fast." So the whole case was I'm not able to control my emotions. And because they're not able to control their emotions, lot of sadness come. Even Anita's case, patient said, "Ki there is a lot of sadness." And work means they go to school, they go to work, but they feel as if I'm tied to it. It is ये जबरदस्ती वाला काम है ना, जबरदस्ती आपसे करवा रहे हैं. So they feel I'm tied to it. Very rigid mind, which is not allowed to show emotions. So that free flow of emotions is not here. And that's why this rigid mind forces them to act against their will. So if child is creative, child wants to do something else, like if child wants to pursue biology and father say, "Nee, nee, 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 computer ka jamana hai. You just have to do computer because then you will get good job, you'll get settled fast, you will be able to go to abroad." And then he's not allowed to what he wants to, and child also follows that. That is important. He follows father principle, and in process becomes weak and breaks down. And there are so much crowded thoughts now because you are continuously controlling your emotions. It is not allowed to express. It is not right that you get so much emotions. So because you're crowded with emotions, there is continuously that fear that I'll become mad. So that fear of insanity is always there. So what will happen when there are a lot of emotions? You continuously keep judging. Is it right? Is it wrong? Good or bad? So this is typically fifth subclass. No, angel, devil, black, white, good, bad, right, wrong, left, right. And they often talk about their strict parent, abusive parent. They talk about the physical abuse, disciplined parent who did not allow me to do something which I wanted to do. So they experience a lot of control, humiliation, abuse. Process, because they are in early childhood, they prefer to be homosexual. Then they block their journey outside, journey towards the heterosexual relationship. They block there and they prefer to be homosexual. So many times you see this type of problem in this stage of development. And typically we get this sensation hide and bound in euphorbialis. They hide their emotion. This is very good. Like, because it is expected from them. See, if you do fourth subclass, it is the water types, emotion, emotion, emotion. Now it's fifth subclass, you have to control your emotion. And it is early stage. So emotions are still spilling. No, it is still too much. So you are trying to hide your emotions. And you are now bound to the masculine principle. You have to follow the father principle. Whatever father is saying, you try to work on it. Feelings are experienced as chaos because so much is going on and I'm controlling it. And that's why that feeling of insane. Then what comes to help you? The religiosity. We are not only religion, means how Anita explained is religion, spirituality, superstitiousness, puja, part, God, everything. So they helps you. So big theme about the religiosity, and you cling to that. That is very important. And at physical level, you start experiencing the contraction, electrical type of pain, piercing type of pain, penetrating type of pain, a lot of splitting pain, tremulousness, spasm. And this is, if you see, it's an expression of fire, the anger, which start, because you're not able to handle this, the anger also starts coming, and then the spasm develops. This spasm again, masculine and feminine. So typically in this euphorbialis, you see fear of insanity, fear of being alone, extreme type of anxiety, fear something bad will happen, lot of sadness comes in process. It's such a small child, a 6 years old child, and she said sadness. I was surprised when I heard it again today. She said sadness, so I was surprised with that. And at skin level, there is a skin mucous membrane and GIT affection, severe skin pathologies comes. Because see, it's a penetration, you're controlling it. So a lot of cancers, a lot of ulcer formation, and there is a lot of bleeding. Tendency for bleeding and diarrheas. This is again the emotional outburst. Croton tikka diarrhea is bunghole type of, no, it comes with the gush. So that type of expression, suddenly it comes, crosses the limit, and it even Mancinella breakup is like that. Suddenly they become insane. Even this OCD also sudden development, and so many types of OCD. So experience till they control is very tense, tight, closed, reserved personality with sudden mental and physical outbursts. And a lot of deafness also they develop, like they're not able to handle their parental pressure. Don't do this, don't do that. And they just don't want to listen to them. And that's why a lot of deafness also comes in this euphorbialis. So again, superstitiousness, theme of work and productivity, continuous focus is on, you have to do this, then this is beneficial for you. This is computer era, no? Most of the children are pursuing computer. They see, as you go down, children many times they lose themselves. They don't know what they want to pursue. But above, they feel you're not allowed to pursue what I wanted to do. So they get a lot of frightful dreams and a lot of nightmares. So when you get such nightmares and frightful come up, probably this is early development where you express your emotions through dreams. Here something bad will happen, a lot of depression and sexual abuse in this stage. So these are the remedies in euphorbialis. Acute is croton tick, typhoid is Mancinella, malaria is Cascarilla, tubercular is Acalypha, cancer is Euphorbium, leprous is Ura, and syphilis is Tilingia. So this is about euphorbialis. Any questions?
Very nice, Nirupama. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I share, ma'am, one
Yes.
two-liner case on Acalypha? It
Yes,
suddenly
yes.
struck
Share,
me
it
when you
will
were
help.
talking about it.
Yes.
This is, of course, PEM understanding about 4-5 years ago, when this young college lecturer, she had finished her PhD and it was just a few months into this college, which was a very demanding position for her, because being the junior most, she was given all the extra duties, NSS, NCC, socials, culturals, everything besides also her teaching, correction, invigilation. And she was just planning to get married. So she just felt she was in this, too much was happening, too much of obligations. She couldn't say no, because this was very important for her career-wise. She had to be productive. She had to be 100% in everything that she did, so that her name would not be spoiled. And her response, her expression was, her old bronchitis of childhood would keep coming back, and she would vomit blood very often. I used to give her a lot of medicines. And then one fine day I said, hey, let me just give her some local remedy. And Acalypha indica, 30, you won't believe it, 6 doses. For 6 months, she never came. I said, oh my God, you itna busy thi kya? And she said, no, I was fine. I didn't have to come. Again, I've got no, because the weather has changed to cold. Again, Acalypha. Now for 1 year, she didn't come. And 30. Now 4 years are over. She just called me actually coincidentally 3 days ago and said, ma'am, I'm married. I'm away in Dubai and I have a son. And I have never had that bronchitis again. I just wanted to thank you. Amazing euphorbials. But now I understand. Now I understand why. Because of the euphorbials susceptibility that she had. And therefore this productivity, this bound by rules, bound by this masculinity, but never allowed to express her feelings and had to feel she had to comply. And yet she wanted to do something different and it was never allowed. Thank you.
Yes. Very good case. So now we have Shahala with us.
Shahala?
Are you there?
She not replied my phone also. Shahala?
She's there on the meet, but
Yeah. So we had Shahala had a case of Lathyrus wanted to share, and then I want to, revise for people how Lathyrus we had done as a remedy earlier. So if you want, I can just do Lathyrus. Would you like that? Because I taken it very long, remember? Very long, almost 30 slides on Lathyrus. So there are new people here. They may like it because what we had thought was we are doing so many things and produce before VAs, and next time we will start doing the remedy. So Shala said the net is down, so she can't do the case. So I'll do Lathyrus with you all. How many new people are there? Or even for everybody, it's okay revising Lathyrus. So I'll take
Yeah,
this.
perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, it will help, madam. It was very nicely done.
So I'm taking the shared screen. Yes. So here is Lathyrus sativa. It belongs to the Sabes group, and it's actually got very few indications, but mainly it is leguminaceae, which we know is the splitting and not being able to put back. We talked about leguminaceae a lot, where you cannot put anything back together. We talked about all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty together again, something like that. So it is leguminaceae, but it is a syphilitic miasm. So it is complete muscle waste. And we'll just go through this so that we understand this remedy, which may be very useful in a lot of cases of paralysis, a lot of cases of complete debility and complete starvation, so on. So it's very important fodder plant because of its ability to grow anywhere. So for animals, for it is very important to keep growing, right? You need lot of fodder. So it is important in those harsh conditions, drought, famine, and it's an insurance crop. Insurance crop means when everything else fails, you will have something to fall back on. So it contains a neurotoxin that causes a neurodegenerative disease when the seeds are consumed as a primary protein source for a disease that causes paralysis of the lower body. So it's called neurolathyrus. And you can see it in the picture. We've seen many pictures when we see completely wasted children. We had one very vivid picture in the papers long ago about the child just lying and the bird just watching when the child will die, and it could be the horrible picture. So that kind of muscle weakness is there. And so neurolatherism is excessive compulsion which causes neurolatherism, incurable neurological disorder manifested by paralysis of the lower limbs. It progresses slowly, the spastic paraplegia involving degeneration of the upper part of the spinal cord, causing stiffness and paralysis of muscles of the lower extremity. So there is a possibility that, we may have, that these remedies, but luckily it doesn't affect the animals for which the fodder is so much. And it contains variable amounts of toxin. It's a perfect picture of certain spinal affections and causes paraplegia, dragging gait, turning in of the toes, stiffness, and semi-flexion of the knee joints. The clinical record of lateral shows that it may provide relief to cases of bedridden paraplegia, infantile spinal paralysis, and certain myelitis. So we can use it almost like a specific and see how it. In 1877, and this is not a new remedy, all our masters of the past have used it. Clark published 2 cases of paralysis, one of multiple sclerosis, one of rheumatic paralysis with stiff knee joints. So it affects the anterior and lateral columns and causing paralysis, as we said, of the lower limbs and spastic paralysis, lateral sclerosis, infantile paralysis, and beriberi. Trembling of arms, worse on attempting to do anything, which is very common even for tremors. According to Vermeulen, hopelessness, it's syphilitic miasm, so hopelessness is going to be there definitely. And it's a condition where you think you cannot get well. And everybody around you also thinks that you cannot get well. So, you can almost use it as a specific. All these points of syphilitic. So syphilitic miasm is one that faced with a situation which cannot be remedied. And so despair and hope. I cannot cope, I am desperate, I am hopeless, I might as well die. That is the kind of thing. There must be a change, and the mind and body moves towards destruction because of the split. It belongs to the same Rosidea subclass, so the split is the delusions, body parts are absent. It's almost like they are absent, right? Because it is there, but it's not working. Trapped. Things fire will catch. Panic attacks. You can't move at all. Supposing fire comes, you can't move at all. If nobody takes you, you'll just perish over there. So these are very, very real situations for them. So they cannot ever trust anybody because there will be definitely times, as it is syphilitic miasm, never trust. But in this particular condition, there'll be so many times that nobody was available or somebody was busy. And so you are terribly mistrustful, persecuted, trapped, and suppressed. So you may be oppressed by the dominant partner, whoever it is. Again, in that also, you can feel trapped and suffocated, unable to express feeling. We saw how in this case, Mancinella, she's in early childhood. So she could express a feeling. This is before that, yeah? So you cannot, it's in fabales. So you cannot still express your feeling. And if somebody is dominating, you just get suppressed. So being suppressed from outside without you having power inside leads physically to spinal problems, vertigo, cramping, paralysis, difficulty standing on it. Paralysis, face feels numb, cobwebs on the face, tongue falls in. Emaciation, weakness, paralysis of lower limbs, even active. Patient is completely gone. See, you can't move on your own at all. And you'll be stuck. So depressed, trapped, and no strength inside. A good remedy for people with polio, weakness, deterioration of muscles, nerves due to polio vaccine, or as a preventive for polio. So you can use it in a polio epidemic. You know, if you give it, it can prevent. So sometimes we have a way of helping. Paralysis due to situation, again, I told you malnutrition, that great famous picture that the child is just completely malnourished. Forced labor, like in concentration camps. So contraction or muscle contraction after taking statins, muscular dystrophy, Parkinson, beriberi, or polio. So it is all associated with oppression, deprivation, and cold, damp air, sweating after catching cold, icy feet, and strenuous physical activity at night. You're just saying, this is where you're caught in jail, All the time you have to be active, whether you want to or not. So you have to work against your will. So these are the diseases it can help. Infantile paralysis, ataxia, polio, multiple sclerosis, multiple problems, paraplegia, spinal sclerosis, so. And even other smaller diseases like dysentery, diarrhea. If you have that, you get both. You get fifth subclass, you get the third row, and you get this kind of a miasm, a syphilitic miasm. So how many things all the time by doing these studies, we are understanding that so many things need to get correlated for you to make a prescription. So these are some of the particulars. Abdomen, colic, as if a damp cloth is around the waist. This is very important and very peculiar. If we ever get it, we just give lateris blindly. In the back, you have lumbago and pain so severe as you can't move and you can't even bear touch. So, can't bear touch. It's so sensitive. Bladder, increased bladder reflexes, urgent, frequent urge to urinate, can't hold at all. I have no control. So the whole thing is about no control, mistrustful, and hopeless. Ears are ringing, limbs, we've already said all these things. And most peculiar is he cannot extend or stretch across his legs when sitting. Bends forward and straightens with difficulty. Stiffness and lameness of ankle. Keys do not touch the ground when walking. So they are walking on toes. You remember we did Rosidea, one remedy called Rosidea in the Rose's family, but she is walking on toes due to egoism or wants to be taller. Here because of paralysis. So when lying down, legs can be moved from side to side, but cannot be lifted. So they like to lie down because they feel that they are moving. Okay, they can't lift the leg, but they can move it from side to side. Legs blue and swollen if hanging down. Cramps in the legs, worse cold and cold feet. Legs are cold in day and turn hot and burning at night, better by uncovered. See this? Completely, you can't see any muscles at all. Imagine getting this kind of a case and imagine giving lateris and imagine getting an improvement. It is nothing short of magic. So there were some cases which Clark has and other masters have given. So it relieved many cases of spastic paralysis. And he quoted one case of woman 25, ill for 5 years with spastic paralysis, constipation, leg muscles hard and unyielding, violent urging to urinate. If he tried to retain, involved. Heavily drugged. I gave hypericum without much benefit. And then when I stopped, I gave lateris 1C and 30C, which he said, Clark says, helped. Case 2. The adductors were in a constant state of irritable contraction. And so causing the thighs to cross so that they could hold them and not be so irritable. Reflexes generally exaggerated. No pain, spine normal, general health was no. The only other symptom was this girdle-like sensation. So I told you, if you ever get this, with a damp cloth around the waist at the feeling, then lateris is the remedy. 3 weeks after lateris, there was reduction in the stiffening. After a month, raised the limbs and moved the toes. After 2 months, he walked out of the hospital. I mean, this is one remedy which really we should try to be able to use. Even I've been trying for the last couple of months, not very successful. I ask people in the hospital, but people don't want to suddenly take a medicine from some unknown. A baby was brought to the hospital, again another case, in the arms of his father. Head was thrown back, legs were hanging loosely, there were no muscles. He had been vaccinated for polio. In a few hours after vaccine, he got fever, became restless as if something was bothering him. He stopped crawling, tried to stand, which he could stand before, and he couldn't hold, the leg couldn't hold him. Before the vaccine, he was completely healthy. I mean, if homeopathy had not been there, Lathyrus not been there, what would have happened to the child? So the rubrics were motion, loss of power of, dragging feet, extremity lameness, motion lower limb difficult, and paralysis and poliomyelitis. He received the remedy because of its affiliation to polio. Within 1 day, the recovery began. Fever went away. He started crawling again. 2 days later, he was able to get back on his feet and good mood and cheer. So this is a current master's case, Chen Rosenthal. Another case, short cases, because they don't have so much indication. What are the indications? We know all this nerve paralysis and all that. And that wet, damp cloth on the wrist. A baby girl, after getting polio vaccine, went into deep comatose sleep for 2 days. She woke up only after she was given Lathyrus. Another case, a woman with paralysis that developed in the lower limbs accompanied by pain in her feet. And there was a history of oppression from a very oppressive spouse. We can see completely subdued. Actually, he loved her, but he was very often very verbally violent, and she thought that was oppression. Okay, because she couldn't do anything. You love me, but if you're bad to me all the time, it cannot be love, right? That's what you feel. And you cannot do anything. Again, you feel completely helpless and hopeless. So with Lathyrus, her paresis passed. She started developing interest in other areas separate from him and did not feel so suppressive to him. So even it makes your marriage work, right? Homeopathy is incredible. So case by Elbaz, a 50-year-old woman suffering from myasthenia gravis. You can see how her lips, eyes. In the past, she was treated with cortisone to maximum allowed dose. So you can see how much suppression. At this point, she was not willing to undergo chemotherapy. Current symptoms were weakness, muscles of the eyes, drooping eyelid, double vision, weakness of muscles of throat. She couldn't even swallow, couldn't speak, couldn't hold her head, and even breathing was difficult, urinary incontinence. Okay. So she was treated with cortisone, we saw. Cervical cancer treated with homeopathy, but which came back after her child was born, at which point it was burnt with laser. Emotionally, she said, I find it difficult to get along in the world. So I and the other, okay? I have to go out into the world, but I cannot. I'm married, but treated with lot of verbal abuse. We are now distanced for a number of years. We are separated, but live in the same house. Means you have nothing to do with each other, but due to whatever reason, monetary and other things and housing, we live in the same house. I do everything. I would like to live separately, but I'm also afraid to live. I feel weak, humiliated, feel paralyzed, and feel a complete failure. All my life I've been suffering. I have to be in control all the time, keep everything I need near me. Why? Because I can access it immediately and nobody will take it away. Because finally somebody else is living in the same house, and just because I need it for just for nothing, no reason, they may take it. I put great importance what to eat. I try to eat healthy, grains, vegetables, nuts, legumes. So I worked, the doctor said I worked with with table of plants. The fear of living alone in spite of abuse is childish. I can't live alone, right? So it is row 3, somewhere there. The need to keep everything at hand is suggests mistrustful, non-safe worldview, right? Anybody can take it. Difficulty of being separated with yet the need to stay in the family, the oppression and the profound, that is oppression, right? And the profound theme of paralysis came up with the idea of legume, because legume wants to stay together, right? That little bit, I think it's a little carrying a bit far, but anyway, it still means they all legume, lot of their problems start after a joint family. I have a lot of patients who joint families split up and all the problems start. So this was all of it, right? So living alone is childishness, living mistrustful, keeping everything with you, staying together in spite of this horrible behavior and violence. It means that you cannot live alone, and lot of fear and the paralysis. So I chose Lathyrus. This is after the plant chart. Amazing. The symptoms were weakness of eyes, drooping eyelid, double vision, weakness, muscles, throat, difficulty swallowing, difficult speech, and will hold her head and incontinence. So I gave Lathyrus in LM potency, was a huge improvement. Weakness of the muscle of the eyes disappeared. There was no drooping, vitality, energy normal, swallowing all right, speech all right, and no weakness. And now she's in a loving connection, means she could finally divorce that husband. Only if you're free can you get another person, right? Unless you make place, how can a new good person come? You cannot. So she divorced her husband and now is in a loving. So that is Lathyrus for y'all. Please, last time also I told y'all, please start using it. And it will be a good addition to our Materia Medica cases which are completely hopeless, completely syphilitic, and we can use it. People will say you don't have to do the Clark and all didn't do plant chart. They did it on syphilitic miasm and the symptoms, but the symptoms are so few. And that is almost like a specific you can use. So that was Lathyrus, and cases we have seen a lot. Whenever Shala can share, we will see. But my patient also very slowly, it's too early, I suppose, but very slowly is improving. But he has the symptom of he can move his leg side to side and he's paralyzed now. So that is the, today we had a lot of people, and I want to tell you all that we have this Saturday meet from 3:30 to 4:30 on Saturday, third Saturday. So that means day after tomorrow, 18. And we are starting a new concept. We are saying pay what you want. There is no amount fixed. There's no such thing as life member, non-life member, engaged subscriber, engaged family, nothing. Just pay whatever you want to pay. It will all go into engaged coffers. Nobody's taking anything home personally. And we hope to see all of you all there. Thank you, Nirupama. Very nicely you did your phobias and introduced her to us. And next time we'll do the remedies. Thanks, Anita, so much for that wonderful case. And thank you, people, for coming. But next time also we'll put a little teaser. Try and at least work it, okay? These teasers are nice. At least it'll teach us rubrics, right? If we learn one new rubric, it will help us somewhere.
What is the topic, ma'am, for this Saturday?
It is Saturday, no topic.
Okay.
Cases. It is cases.
It is
Lovely.
case discussion.
Okay.
No
All right.
But hi everybody, those who really wanted to join as a coming Saturday, please register at least with the Munira. So that would be helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Lovely day. Lovely afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
you.
So we managed the day, and we did lots of different things. So it is nice, it's little hotspot because we had new people who don't know, we could have started the remedies, but who don't know the at least we got whoever was not into the plant whole kind of a approach, they got into understanding what is the fifth row, what is it involved, what kind of studies we do. So at least they have an idea if they want to join. And it won't be a waste of time for them to have come. That is important. That's why I did that little small case. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to share? Ashok, any questions on the subject?
Yes, I have one question about this lattice, which are giving excellent cases presented by whatever doctor, whoever are there. But frankly speaking, whoever in my time, whoever has thought about that, so we used to think about hypericum, the same doctor has prescribed and didn't work well. The same way we should have tried plumbum, but this is something new horizon and we have to catch up. It's good for our practice and good for patients.
Very, very well put, Dr. Gopal.
Thank you, ma'am. So everyone to see next Thursday and coming Saturday too. So book your days and time. Thank you very much. Appreciating.
We'll put up a creative in all the groups who have come today so that you all get an idea. And then you can just tell us that you are coming. Okay, bye. Thank you everybody. Nirupama especially, thank you so much.
Hello, Rekha ji.